Thanks for all the kind words and so forth. I was trying to do what I thought I was supposed to do. First off, I want to say a lot of thank yous to a lot of you folks. And first of all, thanks to God Almighty for all the blessings and so forth that it's given me during my career and for our community. That this is a big asset to have in our community. Especially recognize Mr. Fred Weaver, who's sitting back here as the superintendent who brought me to the Grange. I was in Victoria at that time, pardon? You know, and I'll never forget that. You know, I was in Victoria. Now, this is not planned in my presentation. I just wrote it down a while ago a little bit on this card right here. But so I wasn't planning on being up for very long. But that evening I came in, he called me and said, "Would you come talk to us? You know, Mr. Shaman got killed, high school principal was killed, and his wife was killed in an accident right before school started." He said, "Would you come talk to us?" Okay. I come in on Monday afternoon. We have a visit. Shows me around school. Of course, I went to this school. But he shows me around the school and so forth. And I remember we got through with a little tour, you know, and we're sitting outside his office, and he said, "What do you think?" That was a question he asked me. I said, "You know, I think I could work with you." And he said, "Well, okay." So the next morning, Tuesday morning, he says, "Well, board met, you got a new job." Okay, so that's how fast that went, and it was a pretty quick thing. But I gotta say one other thing that just came to my mind too, seeing Gail sit over here. Gail's dad was president of Gail Linky's dad was president of the school board at that time. And I don't even know if Mr. Weaver knows this, but we were at board meetings. I was high school principal at the board meetings and stuff. And after one board meetings at the end of my first year, it was probably the June meeting or so, Mr. Minzemeyer comes up to me and in the back room, he says, "Hey, good job, appreciate the job you done." He says, "You will be our next superintendent." I go, "Whoa, who did you think about that?" 16 years later, that's what happened. Because I was done there for 17 years and enjoyed every minute of it. He's a great mentor, great man to work with, and was very, very blessed. My whole life's been very blessed to be around good people, and that's what makes things work for you. Well, anyway, thanks to my wife. She's sitting in the back there. She usually she's known for like kind of stay away from all the limelight. She don't like all that stuff going on. And I respect that. She's very supportive. Anyway, all of you in here, thanks for coming. I guess my most frequent question I didn't even know I was going to be asking today is, what are you doing here? So many people are showing up I never expected to show up. But I'm happy that you're here to see this facility that's in our area that will be open for educators, better serve our students in the area, our teachers, and also be open to the community. I was talking to Dr. Blackwell. They got medical training here. We can bring all kind of people into this facility for training. So this is a training facility. Of course, education and schools are going to have first dibs on it. But if it's available otherwise, we're very open to doing that. So that's a good thing. Now, I was thinking today, coming back down from the river, I got a little garden down there. I said, you know, I'm probably going to have to say something. So, what kind of words of wisdom can I give this bunch? And so I got to thinking about it. And then some years ago, when Rich was superintendent in Fayetteville, he calls me and said, we had developed a pretty good relationship. He said, would you come and do the graduation address at our graduation for our seniors? I said, I don't know. and he'd done that before. He said, well, come on, do it. You do it? I said, okay, I'll do it. Well, I got to thinking, I'm going to Fayetteville. Now, my ancestors are buried in Fayetteville, in that area. And, you know, this is rural community. And they said it, where it's totally different in the rural area compared to the urban areas. The thinking is totally different. We are so blessed to be out here. So I said, I'm gonna make this thing. And I really pointed it and made it because I thought Rich's wife, Jen, because she was always kidding around from time to time with me, I was gonna do it for her, or aimed at her, see. And she didn't show up. She was taking care of youngsters, so I'm going, oh, okay, I guess I'll just go on with it, you know? So I'm going to share a little bit of that with you, these words of wisdom that I thought I would share with those seniors about going out into being in life. And it's a reflection of my own life and what I've learned and what has helped me be successful. And so I jotted some of those down. I don't have them all here, but I have a few here. And one of them is, first of all, right up front, person, as you go out there, you got to keep the faith. That's one. Then number two was this: you have to talk to yourself. Now, I'm going to do a little drill with you guys right now. I do this in training, and my TABT folks in here know that I do this. So anyway, this is the deal. I'm going to ask you a question. And you're going to answer the question, I feel great. We got it? Yes. We got it? Okay. How do you feel?
I feel great.
How do you feel?
I feel great.
How do you feel?
I feel great.
And you feel better already, don't you? See? Talk to yourself. Talk to yourself. Okay? That's important. Another thing is just this piece of advice. Do not get in fight with ugly people. Because they have nothing to lose. So live your life there. So you keep these things in your hand. Now, can you imagine what these 18-year-olds are thinking out there? Then I said this to them. Here's another snippet for you. You hear the toilet flush, and then you hear the words, uh-oh. It's too late. And another good piece of snippet of advice to them was, and for all of us, it's what I live by these things. This is my code. Do not ever argue with an idiot. Because those people who are watching, they may not know the difference. Do not put yourself in that situation. And this is something you live by and stay with, is this. Always remember, no tree is too big or too tall for a little dog to hike his leg on. Think of that. Bring you down in a minute. Humiliating. You know, all through my life, I always was around animals out in the rural area, and you study animals, and if you study animal behavior, you learn a lot about life. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot how other people behave. You just watch. And you can learn a lot if you pay attention to it. Well, I'm going to focus on the turtle. You see, the turtle turtle can stay in a shell, and they're very well protected. But if the turtle wants to move forward, they have to stick their neck out. And that can be dangerous, but that's life. You decide, you're going forward, you stick your neck out. And then we go down, and the turtle slowly goes down a path. It may be rough. It may be hilly. It may be muddy. All different things can be in its way. And it gets out, and all of a sudden it's on some smooth ground, and it's sailing good. That's when you better stop and look, because you may be in the middle of the highway. That's life, folks. And you see that turtle on top of the fence post? Better believe he never got there by himself. And that's the deal. You see, as human beings, we become part of each person that we meet. Each creature we may meet becomes part of us and stays with us. And this is how I see this. That plaque, that name on there, it's my name, but it's all of us. That's all of you, a part of me. Thanks. God bless you.